If you've been online recently, you may have seen our pension adverts once or twice. But did you know that Abacus offers so much more than pensions? We have over 40 years experience, and with over 10 accountants we can provide accounting, payroll and tax planning services. We also have dedicated teams with professionals in company formation, trust and estate planning, funds and family office services. Visit our website at www.abacus.gi to find out more.
Thank you for joining us. The purpose of my talk this morning is really just to give a context to what we're doing and what Think Business, Think Gibraltar really is all about.
It is part of Gibraltar's growing international appeal that we welcome people travelling from so many places across the globe to share in our events.
Well, I began my remarks today by noting how significant the Gibraltarian insurance market is to the ABI, but more importantly to consumers in the UK. And we remain fully supportive of this market and of the choice that it gives UK customers.
So in the context of private clients, when they're looking at a jurisdiction that is reliable, stable, safe, we think we tick those boxes quite well.
I'm very excited about it, and I think now is the time really for managers to start really looking at other alternatives other than just looking at the traditional, is it Luxembourg, is it Ireland in a post-Brexit world. I think now will be, what about Gibraltar?
Ryan and myself. Then we'll talk about 90 days, what it is, where it came from, and Ryan will do that as the founder of 90 days. Then we'll continue with a bit more detail on how to work using the 90-day system, which we've used in a lot of businesses already and had amazing results. Then I will be giving you a sneak preview of our new app, which is launching later this year, and talking to you about your own company, your own goals, vision, what you want to do. And that's a really good opportunity for you to then talk to Ryan about your business, get an investor's view on your business. And then I'll be giving you the exciting information about our beta program and grant, which we're offering to companies. So then at the end, Ryan will be giving his top tips on what investors are looking for. So hopefully it will be a really exciting session for you all. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to introduce Ryan. Ryan is the founder and CEO of Staysure Group, and Staysure is the market leader insurance company in the UK, and it's absolutely grown at a phenomenal rate for years and years, and that's thanks to Ryan's entrepreneurial vision and spirit. He also has acquired a number of other insurance brands and formed a group, so he's got Avanti, Paying Too Much, and several others, and the company continues to grow with several hundred employees. So their goal, their vision is to dominate niche insurance on a global scale, and I'm very sure that they will. More brands are actually launching this year. It's a very exciting time for the group. Ryan is also an investor and a mentor. So as part of Howsam Limited, which is his investment vehicle, and his personal investments as well, he's already invested around 35 million in companies to date. And we'll be talking to you a bit more about that as we go through the presentation today. Ryan is also a personality, and shortly later this year, we're hoping to release a TV show which Ryan has filmed, where he has worked with several companies and helped them on a mentoring process. He's also done a numerous amount of podcasts, been on radio and in the press. So if you check out Ryan's website, which is ryanhowsam.com, you'll see a lot of his articles. You can also see his blog with lots of kind of juicy tips on how to grow your business. And also, Ryan is the major stakeholder in the Legends Tour, which is a senior golf tour, which is really exciting as well. Then me, so I'm a consultant, marketing and growth, and I've worked for Ryan for about 7.5 years now. And I've worked on a lot of different projects for Ryan and other companies before that. So I used to be the marketing director at Staysure. Before that, I was in London working in e-commerce. And I help now at the moment with the application process for companies looking for investment. And also I'm managing the launch of 90 Days, both the product and the marketing side of things. And if you do decide you want to apply for investment or for the beta program, you can talk to me about it. So my details are here. I'm always open to talking to companies about, working with us. Okay, so over to Ryan.
Yeah, hi. So is it not possible to see everybody, or it's quite nice to see faces?
Yeah, this is what I was wondering as well. Unfortunately, because I'm sharing the screen, it's really
Yeah,
difficult,
it's a bit difficult, is it?
to do that. Yeah.
Well, anyway, welcome to you all. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me, and thank you, Caroline. There's been a few bumps in the road as well. It's not all plain sailing, as I'm sure it hasn't been for you guys as well. So anyway, why did I create 90 Days? It was a combination of a couple of things. I've never had a mentor actually until maybe 2-3 years ago, and I thought I sort of could do everything myself, and I'd done pretty well. But I came across a guy that I thought was pretty smart, and he introduced me to something called majors and minors. And I've always been an incessant goal setter, and I think entrepreneurs probably are, and so I'd write out all of the things that I wanted in my life, just on a personal level and a professional level and material level and all those nice things. And actually over time that had worked really quite well for me. I remember writing writing some stuff out many years ago, and then finding this book, and this was on the back of doing a Tony Robbins, you may or may not have heard of a Tony Robbins program. And interestingly enough, most of the things that I put down there had really worked, and that was things that I suppose I seeded into my mind, and off I went. But ultimately I made a lot of mistakes on the road to success, lots and lots of ups and downs. Very good at getting things going, but my biggest problem in business was, I would call it my Achilles heel, is the fact that I like to do an awful lot. I like to, when I see a business, I always look at the opportunity, and I'd try and do too much, and I'd be looking for the shiny new thing. Anyway, as I said, there was a guy that I came across, and he introduced me to something called majors and minors. And the idea very simply is that you focus on the most important thing you can do every 90 days. And then you've got 2 or 3 minor things that are still pretty important, but not quite the major thing. And the way this works simply, and if you think about this, if you focus on the most important thing that you do every quarter, and it's the reason for a quarter is it fits neatly with the financial quarter. That's why I like it, and it's 4 times a year, so that fits. But if you focus on the most important thing that you can do, and you really have to think about that. I don't just mean something that's a goal or this. It has to be the most important thing. If you do that every quarter, I can assure you the stacking effect of doing that every quarter is dramatic. It really does work. So I sort of took on that system with my group, and interestingly, whilst doing this, I introduced it into the team as well. So not only would I focus the company and myself. And by the way, this is an important point. It's not just in business, it's in every area of life that I do it. And the app actually covers all areas, because I think it's important that, you know, whilst you're doing business, you also get the other side of your life balanced out and get the things that you want. It's not maybe about business, maybe it's about health or health, fitness, or something else. But anyway, you know, if you get focused on the most important thing and deliver it, and you get people in your organization focusing on the most important thing, then that makes a real big difference. Now, when I took this on and looked at it, there are a number of systems out there. There's one called Objectives and Key Results. And Objectives and Key Results was put together by a guy called John Doerr. And John Doerr did this for Intel many years ago. And then he introduced it into Google. And many companies use this. So what I did is I took the objectives and key results areas, because what I'd done is I'd taken the objectives, i.e. the most important thing, and then what I would do is I would focus on what is it that I'm going to do to make that happen, and I would then go straight to tasks, and I would make sure that I'm doing the most important task each day. Anyway, we'll come on to this a little bit later in the presentation, so I'm not going to give it all away right now. But ultimately, taking on the OKR system and then adding in tasks to it, and then creating a vision and taking a combination of what I'd done with this major and the most important thing, and OKRs, which is a framework that's being used, is incredibly powerful. I've been using this now in the business for some time, but what's really difficult about this is trying to manage it when you get to a certain type of scale. And also trying to understand what's actually happening in the organisation. Now, your companies, I'm not sure of the size of them, but maybe they're relatively small. They might not be, but maybe they are. It's easier to keep on top of things, but even so, if you want to do this in a manual way, it still takes time. And what I wanted to do with this software was to create something that would allow me to keep on top of the things that were incredibly important to me, and then to know exactly what was happening in the organization at every level. So what the software does is it takes away the I suppose the hard yards of writing everything out, but it gives total transparency across the business, from top to bottom and bottom to top. Now you can, with the software, stop people seeing some things if you don't want them to see them. So for example, let's say the most important thing is that you're going to make somebody redundant. You might not want to see that down through the chain. But otherwise, I believe in transparency. I think it's important that people see the vision top to bottom and bottom to top and so on. So that's why I've created it. It's took a lot of time to get it into a structured environment where it can work for a company, both small and large. It's incredibly powerful. For me, in sort of 3-4 years of operating this type of system in a manual way, I mean, I've had dramatic improvements in my personal life, but in addition to that, the profit has gone up about 400 to 500%. And that wasn't from a bad base as well. So, I'm here to listen to the questions that you've got. We'll talk about vision and other areas in a moment, and each individual area as we go through it. But it's incredibly powerful. As Caroline said, we're looking for some people to help beta test this, and obviously, if you like this, then we'll look at that. So we're just looking for 10 companies to beta test it. We've got our own companies in beta testing it at the moment, and in addition to that, there'll be a few more. Okay, so thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. So just to continue, some of the companies we already have using this, so obviously Staysure, Avanti, which is one of Ryan's companies, Garçon Wines and Hollybob, they're both really great companies which Ryan has invested in. Garçon have just recently announced a $1 million funding round, and they've just raised $1 million. And Hollybob, they actually came through our website and applied for investment last year. They undertook a few sessions of virtual mentoring with Ryan, and they achieved investment from Ryan, and they're doing really well. So it's starting to get out there. The feedback so far has been really positive, and they've seen great success using the 90-day system. What people are saying, so there's just a bit of kind of stroking Ryan's ego here, but so a lot of people have worked with Ryan over the years, and if you want to check out more testimonials, you can see his website. So Keith Cunningham is an internationally known speaker and acclaimed author. I won't read this all out to you, but Bill has also had some great mentoring advice from Ryan. There's a lot more on our website. And now we've formalized this into a proper system, it's going to be more powerful, and we're going to be able to touch more companies and improve them. So it's really exciting. How it works, I think Ryan did give you a bit of a whistle-stop tour there of the vision behind it and how it all works. But essentially, I would say the system, regardless of the technology, is around 3 core elements. So the vision, knowing where you want to go, knowing what your purpose is, why you're doing it, and that's for every area of your life, by the way, not just business. So, for example, you might want to run a marathon, and that would be fitness. Or, you might want to think about where you want to be in the future. So the vision is really important, and it starts with your vision. Then we have OKRTs. Now, you might not know what they are, but if you're familiar with OKRs, it's a system very, very similar to using OKRs, but what we do is we make tasks really important as part of that. That's why ours are called OKRTs, not OKRs, and we'll come on to that in a minute. And then this is all great, but if no one's holding you accountable, you're not really going to get anywhere. So we build in accountability into the system as well, and that seems to really work. So, okay, so just touching on vision. Vision is really important, and it kind of drives everything. And it's not just for you. You may have heard of vision boards, things like that. All those tools are really, really useful. But actually, it's not just about you. It's having a vision that you can articulate. So if you're talking to an investor, you need to be able to sell them on your vision. Also, people that work for you, they need to have a kind of share that vision with you. So the app, which we'll show you in a minute, actually helps you do that with a kind of visual representation of where you want to go. But even if you don't use the app, it's just really important to have that big picture thinking at the beginning.
Yeah, sorry, just on that point with vision. I think here what you need to think about is what is the ultimate outcome in every area. I mean, if you're just looking at this for business, great. So in business, what is the ultimate outcome for you in business? And what is the ultimate outcome for the business that you're in? And really, really look at that. That's incredibly important. So, putting that out there and then creating a vision board on the back of it, not only does it get other people engaged, but it gets you into the mindset of knowing where you're going. I know it's very simple, but if you're trying to score a goal and don't know where the goal is, you're not going to score. And I know that's a very simple analogy, but it's the same with this. You've really, really got to have articulated that vision and know exactly where you're going.
Okay. So then OKRTs. So once you've got your vision, you need to think about the most important things that are going to get you closer to that vision. So you tend to do objectives and key results for a year and also for 90-day cycles. What is an objective? An objective is basically where you want to get to. And a key result is how you will know that you're there. So for example, your objective might be to be the market leader, and how you will know, a key result might be that you have increased your market share or reached a certain amount of market share. That's just a very simple example. You might already use OKRs, you might not. You might already use KPIs, and KPIs are different from OKRs because they are key performance indicators. For example, a percentage of conversion rate or number of new customers. So it's a bit different from that. And if you want to know more about OKRs, there's a lot of information on our website, but also you can look into the history of OKRs and how they've been used in tech companies like Google. So it's a really interesting framework, which not only gives you a clear path to where you want to go to, but it's all about alignment within teams as well. So everyone's working on the same goal. Okay. So then accountability. So obviously, as I've said before, it's really important to have someone to hold you accountable. Now that could be you that's holding yourself accountable, but if you do it in a structured way, it really helps. So as part of our system, we have check-ins. We'll tell you a bit more about how they work if you want to go ahead and trial the software. But basically, you will go in each week and check in that you have done your own and check in your confidence level of where you are with your own OKRs. But you'll also have team check-ins every fortnight, and there'll be certain company check-ins as well at certain times in the 90 days. It just keeps everybody on track. Works really well.
Yeah, Caroline, are you talking here about? Is that back to me again now? Oh no, it's over to these guys. Yeah,
Well,
okay.
That was over to everyone.
Yeah,
but
yeah. So just to talk about this because within the software, you've got two ways of doing it. You've got individual OKRs and you've got team OKRs. So if you take what we're doing in the Staysure Group at the moment, we've got several team OKRs. That's where various departments are coming together as part of a team to make something happen. So everybody's involved in that within those teams. And then you've got the check-ins, and then you have individual OKRs, and everybody within the organisation will have their own individual OKRs. So what that means is that, you know, if you can imagine from the bottom up, if everybody is working on the most important thing, either as part of a team or on their own, it's very, very, very powerful. And I used to be a big believer of everything being from the top down. In other words, I would say this is what we're doing, and then I'd almost be prescriptive with what everybody else has to do. And when I learned about OKRs, and particularly how it works in Google and places like that, is that they empower people at the lower levels of the organisation all the way up to actually think about what is the most important thing that they're doing. Now, the beauty about the software is that you can go in and see what everybody's doing. Now, in a small organisation, you'll probably know anyway, but ultimately, if they know what the vision is and they know what the team objectives are, it's probably highly likely that they're going to be aligning themselves with what you're doing. But it might be that somebody in the organisation thinks that something that they're doing is more important for what they're, for their role within the organisation, that perhaps you haven't thought of. And maybe that is the most important thing. So just imagine now that every 90 days, you deliver the most important thing and really get it, and you do deliver it. Now, there's two things here. There's what we call committed and stretch. I don't know if I'm stealing your thunder here, Caroline.
No, please go ahead.
Okay, but a committed objective is something that is the most important thing that you're going to get done, and you're committed to delivering it. And then a stretch objective is something that you're committed to get done, but it's a real stretch and you might not achieve it. And what you actually find in the other like tech companies like Google, for example, is if somebody in the organization has 100% score rate, i.e. they've achieved everything, they've not stretched themselves enough. So they consider that to be a failure and a big flag. So we've split the system into these two areas. It's committed, which means that you are going to go for it. It's the most important thing and you're on the hook for achieving it. And then the other thing is that it's a stretch, and you're going to give it your best shot, but you might not achieve it. And then it might roll into the next quarter or whatever. Now, in our organization, we've got a number of team objectives that really are stretch objectives, because you're trying to push the business as hard as you can. So that's the slight differentiation there. Sorry, Caroline, go on.
That's all right. So the next bit, it might be better in the breakout session at the end, but we wanted to ask you, as the audience, do you already use OKRs? Do you know what your vision is? And we were looking for any brave volunteers that would like to share or have any questions so far in the presentation, or would like to just discuss their company. Sure, if we have anybody.
So, Caroline, we do have a couple of questions in the Q&A box at the moment, but I haven't got anything from any of the startups. I can, however, ask you the questions that have come up now at this stage, if you like.
Yeah, because I couldn't see the questions while I was presenting, sorry. So yeah, there's a few questions. Okay, great.
So first question from Paula Stengo is, hi Ryan and Caroline, thank you. What are the top 3 you look at and assess when you invest in a business?
Okay.
I guess that's more for Ryan.
Ryan, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll have heard this before, really, but the first thing is, well, is it the first thing? No, I suppose that, the first thing is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it worth investing in this business, and am I going to get a return? And that sounds so obvious, but you'd be amazed at how many times I'll look at a business plan and there's no clear way to make this business work. Now, I tend to be involved in businesses where I can see a very clear return on investment for the business and also for myself. It's not necessarily true nowadays, though, that businesses aren't worth money if they don't make a profit. There are many examples out there now of big loss-making businesses that are worth huge amounts of money, and it's rare for me to invest in something like that. Although there's one area that I'm doing at the moment that's right in that in that area. So I suppose the first thing is, does this business actually make sense? I know it sounds obvious, and that's the first thing. The second thing is, can you own a space in the market you're going after? And for me, that's a clearly identifiable space where you can win. How are you going to differentiate yourselves to the competition, and how are you going to win? And then the third thing is, have you looked at the market, the people that you are up against, and got comparables? Why would you reinvent the wheel? Who's doing the best in the market, and how have they done it? And have you really looked at that? You'll be amazed at how many times I'll look at a business and they don't clearly know who the competition are, and how they've done it, and what the metrics are, and what the metrics of success look like. In fact, I see that an awful lot, and that ties in with financials as well. A lot of the time people don't understand the financials. And then the big thing, which is where I was going to start, but probably is the overriding thing, is the people. Can this team deliver on where they're trying to get to? And has the founder got the ability to be able to do that? And particularly with founders, I mean, I like people that are, very positive and have got the wherewithal to really go for it. But I don't like investing in people that think they know it all. None of us know what we don't know. And you'd also be quite surprised at how often I come across people that are really haven't been there and done it and think they know an awful lot more than they do. So, the key thing with everything is business, because you can have a brilliant business opportunity or business with shit people and it will fail. And the flip side of it is you can have a business that's particularly difficult with great people and they'll somehow find a way of making it work. So I'd say, if I was just to articulate that again, does this business actually make sense? Do you understand the fundamentals of it? And have you got, really looked at the competition and seen who's won? And have you got a clear way to win in the market? Can you own the space? And then have you got the ability to get there? And have you got the ability to get the right team around you? Or have you got the right team around you to make a success of it?
Brilliant.
I think we have another question, do we?
Yes, we have the second part of that question is, how important is performance management and performance measurement in the businesses that get investment from Ryan?
Yeah. Well, it obviously depends upon what stage they're at with performance management. If they're a startup, there's sometimes not a great deal to performance manage, but then obviously you've got to make sure that you get into you're launching in line with the objectives that you've set. But I would say it's incredibly important to manage performance at every level of the business, and to be very clear, what do we mean by performance? So you know, I've got a business that's got a myriad of KPIs in the business. And as Caroline said earlier, KPIs are very different to objectives and key results. And they can mix in areas. And over time, by the way, we'll be putting KPIs into this platform. But I would say you really need to focus on 3 to 5 most important KPIs in every area of the business and make sure that you are absolutely managing the performance in every one of those areas with everybody that's accountable for a KPI. Does that answer the question?
Yes.
Yeah, are you sure, Paul? You can talk.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Caroline, I think if we could jump into sharing how to apply, because I see people, one of the participants has had to leave early, but that's fine. I know.
Okay. Yeah.
So I
Okay.
was there. In any case, we could also share the presentation with anybody if you'd like to get it and look through it. Just email me.
I would like to show you a few slides from the app if I have time for that.
Fantastic. Yes, please do.
Yeah, okay. So let me, sorry, slideshow. Okay, right. So we've done this bit. So we're going to show you just a few slides from the app to give you a taster of what it's like. We think it's great, but every company, you'll have your own company dashboard and you create your own vision board, which you can share with your colleagues and suppliers. You can use it yourself to motivate yourself. And in your company dashboard, you will obviously have your company objectives in there, which you'll input. And you'll be able to see as you go along how you're getting on, how your progress is rated. And obviously there's the green, amber and red. Your dashboard, so when you log in to the app, you'll see this every time. And you will, obviously I haven't put all my data in here, but you will have your tasks due this week, when your next check-in cycle is, and these are your onboarding tasks at the top here, getting started. So it takes you through a process, everything from setting your business vision to designing your morning routine, because we believe in quite a holistic way of getting progress. You'll have a space for your OKRTs, and I won't go into too much detail now, but as you go along, you'll be able to see how everything's on track or not on track, and you'll see what's red. You can kind of deep dive into that and understand why. You can see what other people are doing as well in your team, but you can also use it on your own.
Caroline, are you going to talk about tasks anymore or not?
And not in great depth.
No, so I think something here that is really important with the OKR systems that are out there, and there are a number of them, and we've looked at them. Quite complicated to operate and very difficult, especially the way in which I wanted to think. But the T area, the tasks, is so important. I presume you've all got to-do lists. The way tasks work, I believe, is that if you do the most important thing every day, then you actually achieve an awful lot more. So the tasks in this system, the way the system operates is that you put in your tasks, and I tend to do it on a Sunday afternoon. So I'll do all of my tasks for the week, and then I'll chunk them into the areas of the key results that I'm trying to push, which ultimately drive the objectives. So everything that I'm doing with those tasks is being done to drive something. Now we've also got a general area, so you can run your general tasks in here as well. I wanted that, so I've got all my tasks in one place. But then you can clearly identify and see how much of your time is being spent on stuff that is not that important, and how much of your time has really been spent on driving the most important thing. So tasks are incredibly important, and have been missed by everybody that I've seen in the industry. And that's why we've added tasks in.
Yeah, and tasks are all organised by your OKRs. So there's general tasks like buy flowers for Mother's Day, but everything else has to be related to an OKR. Otherwise, what's the point if it's not going to take you closer to your goals? So this is just another view showing you companies, and you can see split by team. So you can deep dive. It depends how big your company is, obviously. But for example, with Staysure, we have hundreds of employees. You can deep dive into marketing, see how they're getting on, etc. In the app, there's a learning hub where we're creating video content, explain how to do things. Just gives you a flavour of how that works. So now I'm going to talk about the beta programme. So we're looking for 10 companies. We already have a couple, and we want them to help us shape 90 days. And in return, we're going to give you a really exciting opportunity to really drive your business forward in 90 days with the accountability of Ryan and the team, and also the opportunity to trial the software. So what it is, all we ask of you is that you're willing to commit to this for 12 weeks. You need to spend approximately 1 to 2 hours at the beginning with onboarding, and that's it. Then you'll have group coaching from Ryan, which is a fantastic opportunity. And as we go along, you'll have the opportunity to talk to me and my colleague Lucy, either weekly or fortnightly, to let us know how you're getting on, but it won't be too intrusive on your time. And one company out of the 10 will win a grant, a £5,000 grant, an innovation grant, which I'll talk to you about in a second. This is group coaching. We already do this. This is an example of a group coaching session Ryan did with Hollybob and some of their external team. So we're already really good at this, and this would be something that I think would be really beneficial if you've got an idea or you already have a company, just to kind of keep it moving. So to apply, you can visit our website, or you can contact me and have an informal chat about it. We're not looking for specific industries. You can be a startup. It could be that you don't actually have a business yet, so that's another option. Or it could be that you already have a business and it's doing quite well, but you just want to push it a that bit further. It doesn't matter what sector you're in. We're actually looking for a wide split of industries to see how this works with different industries. In order to apply, we just want to know that you're motivated. So you just need to tell us on the form, which explains it all, how that you think the system will help you and how you would use a £5,000 grant to advance your business. And that's it really. And you can apply online on our website. It should be quite straightforward. And then finally, I think we've actually already done this in the question session, but Ryan was going to give some tips on how to impress an investor for anyone interested.
Yeah, well, I think I'm glad you put these up here, Caroline. Yeah, so I mean,
so we have had some kind of late joiners, and that's great. So I mean, maybe have a quick recap on the session and how to get in touch would be good at this stage. In any case, it's been really, really interesting. Thank you so much, both. I'll let you do a quick recap, Caroline, on how to contact you and the presentation to anyone who needs it. I'll drop your contact email in the chat as well.
Yeah, okay. So if you need help and support, you can contact me or my colleague Lucy. And we both have the same format of email address, so caroline@ryanhowsam.com, lucy@ryanhowsam.com. But officially to apply, you just visit the website, ryanhowsam.com, and it should be obvious. There's a big link on there, the form to apply. You can also find us on social media, Ryan Howsam on Twitter, @RyanHowsam, and all these links will be in the presentation. I think it's a really great opportunity for anyone that's looking for that bit of an extra push over the next 90 days. And I assure you that if you do the programme, you'll stick with it because you'll see such results that will really move you forward that you're going to stick with it for the next 90 days as well. So.
So just to summarise, for those that
any parting words for us, Ryan?
Yeah, just to summarise, just for those that maybe came a little bit late, first of all, have a vision and know where you're going. I know it sounds obvious. This will actually help you do that. Think as big as you can. Really go for it. Focus on the most important things every 90 days, and measure how you're getting there with the key results, and then do the most important things every day. That sounds easy, but doing that and having transparency across an organisation is actually quite difficult to manage. And this software is really going to help you do that. Caroline mentioned that I'm going to spend some time with the companies on the beta program. I think one of my biggest skills is actually spotting opportunity and knowing what would win. So, don't underestimate the value of spending a little bit of time with me helping you. And it goes both ways. Maybe there's things that I'll be able to get from you guys as well. So there's that. And then I think I know I was asked earlier, what do investors, what do I look for in an investment? And I'll just go over that again. I noticed you said at the end there, Caroline, about the elevator pitch. I mean, that's a really important thing. I think I was listening to Kevin O'Leary out of Shark Tank, and I think he said that if they can't articulate it in 30 seconds or less, they're gone. You know, the businesses that get the investments are the one that can do that to start off with. But just going over perhaps a little bit more detailed points about that again for you. What do I look for when I'm investing? I want to know that the business makes sense, that the as I call it, the juice is worth the squeeze. That it's definitely the business has got a way of making money, and then more importantly than that, they've got a way of taking market share and have a clear space that they can operate in that market. Must have researched the market and know who's done it. Why reinvent the wheel? What have they done? How can you follow what they do or do something better, ideally? And then finally, the people. The people have got to be, good, open-minded, genuine people that can really drive a business and have got the ability to do that. And without great people, you're really going to struggle. That's either yourself or, and ultimately. We can't all be brilliant at everything, and making sure that you get the right people around you as fast as you possibly can is incredibly important. I know that's hard sometimes because great people are expensive, but my experience has shown that the faster you pay the people that can do the job better than you, the faster you're going to have success. I noticed there's a guy from Jib Telecom on here. I don't know if he's still here, but in larger companies, this approach is very, very powerful. I mean, my company's got about 700 people and growing. So this is not just a small startup enterprise software. This can go across the board, and the results I'm having in my organisation are astounding. It's we'd love to hear from you. I think there's going to be quite a lot of people wanting to get those 10 spots. So we'll leave it with you guys. Any other questions?
I think there is one question from Paul.
Is this in part a very advanced CRM system?
I wouldn't say it is, because the CRM system is more about managing customer contact records. This is more like a productivity meets coaching type.
I think that's a really good question, that one. No, it's not.
Excellent. I think just to wrap up here, I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody who's attended today. Thank you, Caroline, Ryan and Lucy. It's been great. We've been working hard all month to try and get this event out there. So I hope that people are interested and they're going to apply. It's been a great session. Very, very exciting opportunity. So please don't hesitate. Apply, get in touch, ask us any other questions that you might have. And again, thank you so much both for your time and to Lucy, who's here also. She's attended today. I just want to quickly shout out to our sponsors once again. Thank you, Gibraltar Finance, Abacus and Jib Telecom, who are partly responsible for making these events possible. And that's all for this session.
Okay, thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.